Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on scholarships at Ashoka. My name is Niyati. I work with the Office of Outreach at Ashoka University. Joining me today are Jayati Bhatia, Assistant Director, Office of Financial Aid, Tejasvi Anand, Deputy Manager, Office of Financial Aid, and Amrit Kalkat, Deputy Manager, Office of Admissions. Together, we will be addressing some of your queries which are related to scholarships available at Ashoka University. Before we start, I would like to inform my audience that the round 2 deadline for undergraduate program at Ashoka University is 15th January 2025, and you don't need your 12th grade, 12th marks, or CUET grade. You can apply without your 12th grade or CUET marks and even get an offer of admissions before your 12th board results. So we will start now. I would like to inform my audience as well that you can type in your questions in the Q&A box, which is on your Zoom screen, and we will be taking all of your questions at the end of the session. So I think, Jayati, we are good to go now.
Yes, absolutely, Niyati. Thank you. Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. So let's start, Niyati.
So will you be presenting your presentation, or we can simply start the Q&A session?
Yes, so we are presenting. It's on the
Okay.
screen right now. Yeah.
Right. All right. So Jayati, since we are starting the webinar, the first basic question is, what is need-based scholarship?
Okay, all right. So that's a very interesting and important question. At Ashoka University, our philosophy has always been to make our world-class education affordable and accessible to all students, irrespective of whatever background they come from. And giving need-based scholarship is a key component of carrying out this commitment. Now, given that philosophy, we follow a need-blind admission and a need-based scholarship support. Now, to explain this in a little more detail, well, when a student applies for Ashoka University, in the application form, we do not ask for, or neither do we consider any income or other, financial aspects while we are considering their admission to Ashoka University. So our admission is entirely based on the holistic assessment of the candidate, which includes their academic merit. However, this need-based scholarship is assessed entirely on the basis of the financial standing of a student's family. So, our main aim here is to help the student bridge the gap between the cost of the program at Ashoka and their ability to pay. And just to give you an idea of how strongly we believe in this philosophy, so currently on campus, approximately 47% of our students are on some form of scholarship in both the undergraduate as well as in the postgraduate programs.
Thank you so much. I think this is a very good introduction about when we talk about need-based scholarship, because it's really important for the audience to understand what is the philosophy behind that. Speaking of which, I would also want you to address that what has been the impact of this need-based program, and how many students receive the scholarship?
Okay. So if I talk about the impact of this need-based program, well, that has been quite huge. And if I add up all the numbers since the beginning, then almost 5,000 plus students have been benefited from this program. They have either paid only a part of the fees or have not paid any amount of fees. And of the resources that have been pulled in together, so almost 610 crore rupees have went into funding education for these students. So this is an amount which has been unheard of in our country, going only towards scholarships. And if I specifically talk about the undergraduate program, then since the beginning, when the program started in 2014, our generous need-based scholarship policy has helped approximately 45% of our students with some form of scholarships.
So you mentioned some form of scholarship. I mean, what does that really mean?
Okay, so every student who is eligible for a need-based scholarship, they can receive anywhere from a 25% waiver on the tuition fees to a full waiver on all the costs for studying at Ashoka, which will also include their hostel fees and as well as the meal cost. Now, this typically means that a student can get a waiver of anywhere between 2.5 lakhs to almost 12 lakhs per annum of their tuition fees, of their total fees. So, therefore, this need-based scholarship program, it is essentially, not a straightforward yes or a no, that yes, I will get full need-based program or no, I'll not get any support. It is actually a gradient or a range. And of the students who have received this need-based scholarship, as we can see also on the screen, that 60% have received partial tuition waivers, wherein they have either received a 25% waiver, which all, or they have received a 90% waiver. So anywhere between this, and almost 40% of them have received a minimum tuition waiver, which also then covers their residence cost and meals cost. So, therefore, on an average, we have seen that 60% of our students who qualify for this need-based scholarship program, they nearly get around 5 to 7 lakhs waiver per annum on their tuition fees.
That's an amazing number, I must say. Now, since we are talking about this need-based scholarship and across the globe, there are different ways that you get scholarships, right? At Ashoka, is there any eligibility to apply or anyone can apply?
Okay, so anybody can apply for this, need-based scholarship. There is absolutely no limitation in applying, but only a logistical step is involved, which is that you can only apply for this need-based scholarship once you receive a form offer of admission. So the day the students receive a decision on their form offer, they will be receiving an email from the university, and that email will share the login credentials, wherein through those login credentials they can log into our to their respective Ashoka portals, and on that portal the form will be visible to them. So they can go through the form and they can start filling in the form. The form is absolutely free of cost. So there is no cost involved in applying for this scholarship. Only a bit of their time is involved. So if the students are well prepared in advance and they have all the documents ready, then they can just go ahead, submit the form and get done with this process.
Perfect. Thank you, Jayati, for giving such an impressive introduction about need-based scholarship. Seguating this to Tejasvi, so since we were talking about this form, um, why don't you just share with us how easy it is to apply for need-based scholarship?
Wow, wonderful, Niyati. So, candidates can apply for the need-based scholarships as soon as they get a firm offer of admission. In our experience, we've seen that once the candidate has all the information and documents ready, then it doesn't take more than 1 to 2 days to submit uh, the form. And as the need-based scholarship form requires in-depth information about the family's financials, therefore, we would like to suggest and also request the parents to be with the students and also to students to involve their parents and guardians while filling up the need-based scholarship form. I'll now also take you to through some of the main sections of the need-based scholarship form. As you can see on the screen, there are four main sections, which is first being the personal and family detail sections, which asks you where you've studied, where you live, your address, and your other contact details, about your family members, their occupations, etc. Moving on, we have earning member details and a business detail section, which talks about the income details of your family, the including all the family members, all the earning members in the family, the business details or the professional details, or any other consultancy that the family owns. Then we move on to the wealth and expenses section, which talks about the assets and investments of the family and all the fixed expenses that your family incurs in a particular financial year. And finally, the last section is the comment section, which is your opportunity to explain in detail why your family requires the need-based scholarship. Please note that this is a mandatory field. You may feel free to write all the details that you feel we should know. It is also very, very useful for you to know that our assessment is completely based on what you provide. So please ensure that you provide us with an exhaustive information.
Thank you so much, Tejasvi. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a great help to everyone. Despite the process being so simple,
right,
uh, what are the challenges that a student can face while filling in this form?
right. So we have seen in our experience, we've seen that sometimes parents are not willing to share the financial information because it's sensitive. So we would like to assure everyone that all the information and documents that are shared with the office is very confidential and is stored in a very secured way in the Ashoka portal. Nobody has the access to this information apart from the financial aid office at Ashoka University. Not even other departments, not even the admissions office, not even any other department at Ashoka has access to any of these details. Now, secondly, there have been situations where some students, at the time of filling of the form, in case they have some queries, they write to us after the deadline is over, and we are not able to help them. We are not able to open the financial aid form for them. So we want to encourage all the students to reach out to us within the deadline, and we would ensure that we assist you in the best possible manner.
Perfect. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So apart from this information and guidance, what are the some other key steps that a student should understand or should keep in mind while filling in the form more responsibly? Any tips that you can give so that
Yeah.
students can be more mindful during filling this form?
Right, absolutely. So first is to click on the submit button. That's the very important button. Sometimes, it is being missed because of the 5-day window. So you have to click on the submit button and check the acknowledgement mail once you have submitted the form. Do check, the mail address mails from the email addresses admissions at the rate ashoka.edu.in and financial aid at ashoka.edu.in. You'll be now seeing these two email addresses on your screen, and we would encourage all the applicants to add these email addresses to their mailbox so that you do not miss any important communications or updates from our side. I'd also like to reiterate that, while filling the form, we suggest you involve your parents, as sometimes it seems that the students may not be exactly aware of the financial details of the family. I'd also like to give you one example. For example, we've at different instances, we've asked monthly salary and the annual income at two separate places. So any confusion in this or any data wrongly entered here may have a huge impact on the potential scholarship being offered. So we request you to be careful with the financial figures that you punch in.
I was actually going to ask you this because as you were mentioning all the details and everything, it's
Right.
quite controversial that I would want to ask you. What if a student is deliberately filling in information which is probably misleading or some misinformation?
Yeah.
Then what could be the repercussions?
Very good, very important. So every form which we receive is subject to verification either through mail or through telephonic conversation or at any point in time during our assessment, if it is found that the family has investments or savings or any other details that they have not been haven't shared in the need-based scholarship form, then the candidate's need-based scholarship application is subject to disqualification.
Okay, so this could be kind of a note to the audience to fill in all the details correctly. Um, so Tejasvi, how does the need-based scholarship process work, and when can a student apply for a need-based scholarship?
Oh, amazing. So it starts when you receive a firm offer of admission. So whenever you receive a mail from the admissions office regarding that got an admission at Ashoka, uh, it also mentions about the need-based scholarship forms and says that the need-based scholarship forms are now open. You need to log into the student portal and you will find the link to the need-based scholarship form. The forms for the round two will be opening on 9th of April 2025, and the deadline to apply will be for 5 days. So this is the deadline that you must adhere to, since we are very strict and we'll be not be able to extend it under any circumstances. I'd also want to add that during the process of filling the form, you may have a lot of questions, about how to fill the form or very specific queries to your situation. It could be pertaining to your financial standing, or maybe if you are an international applicant, how the income disclosures happen in your country. And we also understand that some of you may or may not fully understand how to upload the documents. In such situations, we strongly urge you to reach out to us on the email ID that is being shown on the screen right now, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. You must contact us before the deadline and not wait for the deadline to get over. We will ensure that we try to answer all your queries and assist you in completing the form in case you face any difficulties. And please, we are more than happy to help you. Please just write to us if you have any queries regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejasvi. This was really informative for the students because, whenever I talk to students in the career fairs or presentation, these are the questions that come into picture. And this particular session actually helps the students to understand the whole process thoroughly, right?
Right.
One quick update. So basically, I would request the audience to put in their questions in the Q&A box, and we will be addressing all the questions at the end of the session. I would now want to ask Jayati a few of the questions because we have been discussing a lot about need-based scholarships. Do we have any merit-based scholarships?
Oh, yes. We do have merit-based scholarships at Ashoka University. So in 2022, we have started with the Sciences Merit-cum-means scholarship program. This is offered for students, who are intending to major in science courses like physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, or computer science. And for the merit scholarships, we have a total of 25 scholarships which are available. And these scholarships, the merit scholarships, they are in addition to the need-based scholarship program. So, talking about the merit scholarships, wherein we have 25 scholarships available, out of the 25 scholarships, 5 candidates will get a waiver of 100% on their tuition fee and residence cost, and 20 students will get a full waiver on their tuition cost. And in order to avail of this scholarship, the student firstly need to have received a confirmed offer of admission, which is as per our existing admission process. And post that, there are two qualifiers after which we select students for this scholarship. So the two qualifiers are A, that they need to meet our academic cutoffs, depending on whichever board they have appeared for. Or if they have appeared for any national entrance tests, then they have to go to the website. They can check our cutoffs, and accordingly, if they qualify as per the cutoffs, they can share the details with us over email. Secondly, the criteria is that the family income of a candidate should be less than 40 lakhs per annum for the last financial year, which is 2023 to 24. And to ensure that you get shortlisted for this scholarship, we encourage that when you are submitting your admissions form, you fill in the correct income bracket in the admission form, because we will be taking your income details from that particular section. So it's very important that you fill the correct income details over there, and you share your uh, grades also in the correct manner. If you do not have your final grades, that is fine. We can also evaluate you on the basis of the predicted grades. So you can please visit our website and we have the details, we have all the cutoffs available. And accordingly, if you feel that you qualify for our cutoffs, so once you receive the offer of admission, we will be shortlisting you and sending a form wherein you need to again share certain details like your parents' ITRs, your final scorecard or the predicted scores, and you will be required to write an SOP as to why you need to study that particular major at Ashoka. So this is the whole process for applying for a merit-based scholarship.
This majorly covered everything, actually. So, at last, apart from the scholarships, are there any other fee concession available for the students who are applying for Ashoka University?
Yes, so this is very important for all the Haryana resident students, that they are eligible for a full or a partial fee concession as per the Haryana Private Universities Act. However, this fee concession is only subject if to the submission of the Haryana resident certificate, as well as the latest ITR of the parents or the guardians of the candidate. So please note also that this benefit is only applicable at the time of taking the admission. So once you have taken the admission, you have joined the university, then you will not be able to, qualify for this fee concession. So please ensure that if you are a resident from Haryana, then you need to select a yes in your application form for this. And if you do not have your certificate right now, it is okay. You can procure your certificate, and within say a span of 1 month or 2 months, you can share that with us on an email ID, which was shown to you earlier, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. So please just ensure that you select a yes in your admissions form, that yes, you are a resident from Haryana. And also note that this fee concession is decided by the university. So the university reserves the right to decide which student will get what fee concession, and the fee concession which will be given to you will be applicable for the entire duration of the undergraduate program. So for all the Haryana resident students, this is a very important note, that they can get a fee concession if they have the resident certificate available.
Perfect. So I think this information and guidance sums up everything. Like we talked about need-based scholarship, merit-cum-means scholarship, the process and everything, and of course the Haryana domicile certificate. I think now since we have covered everything, we can move ahead with the audience Q&A.
Sure, absolutely, we can do that.
Perfect. So, okay. So we have already covered the percentage. So basically, there's a question from the audience that they had emailed the financial aid team earlier to inform them that the father's business has only recently registered for GST in October 2024. Since it didn't fall under the mandatory registration threshold before, we don't have GST returns for the previous years, only for the November and the December. Okay, so the financial team responded and suggested that I provided an attested letter from a CA along with the available GST returns. However, my CA is unwilling to provide the attested letters. I want to ask if there is any alternative documentation I can submit in place of the attested letter, or how I should proceed in the situation.
Yes, so I'll take this. So since the said letter is not available at the moment, for now you can attach a self-attested document stating the same reasons that the business didn't have the GST returns prior for only has the GST return for the previous 2 months and not before that, and also state the reasons for not having the documents. And you may attach the self-attested letter along with the GST returns for the couple of months available in the GST return section.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So another question is, if my family is financially stable, but I need financial aid due to personal reasons, how can I opt for it?
So at Ashoka, we believe that the primary responsibility to, the philosophy behind awarding the aid is that the primary responsibility to bear the cost of the education expenses of the student belongs with the family before the university grants the financial aid. So we expect that the family will consider various financial resources to them, which includes the income, the savings, the investments. Then comes the education loans to finance the expected educational cost. That is why we would request the applicant to please involve the family, please bring them into the picture, and let them collectively take the decision.
Okay. Another question is that, for example, if some student has some ancestral property, but not that property is not owned by their guardian or parent, so
Right.
do they have to attach that particular property information as well in the need-based scholarship form?
Yes, so since that some part of it, maybe partial or full, belongs to them, then it is actually their share. They can add the details in the real estate investments, or if they are staying in that property, then they can include the details in the own house section.
Perfect. All right. And do you have any quota for single parents, or do state level, like, firstly, I'll take this questions. These are two separate questions. Do you have any quota for single parents?
No, we do not have any such quotas available for or any reservations available for any any categories that are there. We just it's a level playing field for everyone, and financial aid is open to the need-based scholarships are open to all the students that are offered the form of offer of admission from Ashoka University.
And if students have been a part of state level
Mhm.
um, competition if they are into some sport. So do they have
Right.
any concession, any quota for that matter?
Oh, so since our admission process is so holistically, approaching the admission of every candidate, they've already taken these things into account, and accordingly, they've given the offer of admission. It it is an independent achievement in itself. So they have considered this. We at you know at the for the need-based scholarships, we are just creating the level playing field for all the applicants. To bridge the gap between the cost of the program and the ability of the family to pay for the education.
Okay.
Right.
All right. We do have a lot of questions right now. Even we have some questions for admissions team as well.
Right.
So I'll take a pause for a minute for the scholarship. And Amrit, I would like to ask you a few questions which are asked by audience. Um, so basically, the student's question is, when do students receive a firm offer of admission? Is there any tentative offer first?
Hmm. So the students will receive their firm offer or offer of admission depending on the rounds that they've applied in. For now, students who applied in round one, we're sending out offers on the 27th of January. Right. Other than that, there are five types of offers of admissions. One is a conditional offer. So that means that the student would have to meet their predicted grades, what they predicted in their application. A firm offer of admission is they just need to pass their 12th grade examinations. Another is a wait list. So if in case we have, a few seats available at the end of the admissions process, we may get in touch with a few students who wish to join the university then. The another one is a deferral of admission, in which they would have to provide their marks at a later stage after they pass their 12th grade examination, and we'd consider their application at that point. And the last is a denial of admission. So unfortunately, that is if they don't pass the admissions process successfully, they will be sent a denial of admission. So there is no separate types of admission. You get one of these five offers in every admission round. Yeah.
This was much needed for the audience because I receive a lot of calls like what type of offer are we getting or when are we getting the offers. So this is really going to help us. Another thing is this question is quite technical. It is related to the application. So the applicant is asking the highest grade received in A level general is a A. However, the form has A star feeded automatically and can't be changed.
Okay. Okay, so that may be a technical glitch in the application, so we will take note of that. But however, rest be assured that the people who are assessing your applications are aware of, the maximum grade achievable in whatever board you're in. So we do assess the application accordingly. But if that's the case, thank you for letting us know. We'll definitely look into it, and if it's a bug, we will be fixing it. Yeah.
So if there is any other technical issue as such related to the marks, which is from like 10th mark sheet or 12th 12th they don't have, but any of the marks, is there a possibility that with the mark sheet they can upload a note as well?
There is a possibility they have to upload a PDF for
Yeah.
whatever marks they're uploading, whether it's your 10th, 11th, or 12th predicted grades, in case they have those. Other than that, if they find out later, because a lot of the time students realize later that they may have filled something wrong, they can always write to the admissions team, the same email ID, admissions@ashoka.edu.in. You can write to us, it's always active. We look into it. You send us your application number in case there's any discrepancy, and we look into it at that stage.
Perfect. Um, Another question is that it's related to the application round. If we applied in round one, can we push our application to round two so that we have some more time to accept the offer?
Um, so that is a pretty interesting question. It depends on when you submit your application. So even if you start your application, say in the duration of round one, if you don't submit it before the deadline, it's not going to be considered in round one. So round one has long passed. Round two submission deadline, I think, is the 25th of January. Sorry, the 15th of January, if I'm not wrong. So if you submit before that, you will be considered in round two. But it really depends on when you submit your application. A different question is your acceptance, but that comes after you apply, you give the assessment, you sit for an interview. So it's a long process. So at that stage, if you do indeed get an offer of admission from us and you wish to push it at that stage, you would have to write to us and have a conversation with us at a later stage. But for now, it's all dependent on the submission of your application.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amrit, for answering all the questions. I would like to move to the need-based scholarship questions now because there are a lot of questions. So, there are some questions. Do real estate properties add to the need-based scholarship criteria? Is it necessary to provide all the information of all the properties owned by the family?
Yes, so it is absolutely mandatory, and we've also provided space in the need-based scholarship form to put the details of all the real estate properties that are owned by the family.
Okay, all right. So, for example, if there is a sudden demise of a
Mhm.
family member who was the earning member of the family, and if the student's mother gets some earnings from trading, stock trading, but that is not a stable income.
Right.
So does the student's mom count as the earning member in my family? Or how do I calculate the annual income considering the stock trading is very unstable from the income? And secondly, if the student, because of the unstable income, is not filing the ITRs, then
Mhm.
what kind of financial documents the student can like fill in during the need-based scholarship form?
Right. So to answer this, the first answer would be that this counts as the income. So it'll be better if you punch in all the figures that, are available at the moment for a particular financial year. So in the earning member details, the amount of income that she earned in a particular financial year has to be entered as the respective income heads, like gross income, income coming from other sources, and all the heads. And secondly, if the ITR is available, it's very good. So we'd request the applicant to get in touch with the CA and file the ITR for the app for applying the need-based scholarship program. If not, for now, the self-attested document would work, but eventually the student can write to us and we can um, request him some other documents such as mm, the government issued income certificate, but that's a tedious process. It takes a lot of time and compared to filing an ITR. So we come back to the original ITR thing, and it's easier as compared to the government issued income certificate.
Correct, correct. That's very precise. So
Yeah.
basically, we have questions related to concessions. Are there any concessions for tribal students from the Northeast?
So, no concessions or no specific, reservations regarding the need-based, as I've mentioned. This creates a level playing field for everyone. So, because of the need-based scholarship program, we consider all of the students as equal and give them equal opportunity to apply for the need-based scholarship.
Okay. All right. I hope these questions are not too overwhelming.
Nahin, nahin. No.
Yeah. So another question is, I am father of a candidate. My daughter lives in Delhi, but I live in Hyderabad. My daughter lives in a house which is owned by us but is not registered. So how
Right.
do you deal with such situation?
In that case, you might be having the documents, maybe a GPA related to that house, which is a general power of attorney, or any such document. You might be paying the house tax or electricity bill related to that house. You please kindly mention all these details in the real estate investment section. And if by any chance they are staying on rent, then you can mention the rental expense in the respective section we have provided in the financial or in the need-based scholarship form.
All right. Another parent is asking a question, can we know if there is a qualifying income? For instance, our average family income is equal to or higher than 50 lakhs per annum,
Mm.
but not more than 60 lakhs. So can we apply?
We encourage all the students, all the families to apply for the need-based scholarship program. There is no income as the sole criteria for applying for the need-based scholarship, as we do holistically look into the complete financial standing of the family. Uh, However, there are so many parameters we look into the assets and liabilities, which which constitutes the financial standing. So we generally give it a holistic approach and not just a one-dimensional income approach, I'd say.
Right. So Tejasvi, we have multiple questions related to what we discussed about need-based scholarship. Could you quickly summarize about what are the documents that are needed?
Mm.
Secondly, where the email would be sent, like is it on the same portal where the student has submitted the application, or in there will be a separate email for that matter?
Mm.
And there was one more, just give me a second. Yeah, and another is that this need-based scholarship is applicable for just 1 year or all 4 years. So could you just like quickly summarize this? Because we have
Yeah,
multiple questions about it.
right. I'll start with the first one, which was the documents that are required. So, if the applicant is from any part of Haryana, then we do require the Haryana domicile certificate. Then we do require the class 12th uh, fee slip as well. The fee slip quarterly, you can club all the fee slips. You will be required to upload the fee slips. And then for all the earning member details, we require the bank account statement for a period of 12 months. Salary slips, salary slips if for the past 3 months, if applicable. And if the parents are self-employed or have a consultancy or have any business, then we do require the ITRs for the past 3 financial years. And for any of the businesses that the family possess, we do also require the bank account statement for the respective businesses, the GST returns for the past 12 months, for the past 3 years, and the all the financial statements such as the balance sheets, profit and loss statements are to be uploaded in a separate attachment that is being requested. It also includes the request related to the ideas for the businesses, and and also if you have any commitments, any loans that are outstanding, so there is a separate section which talks about all the loans. If you got any vehicles, then the vehicle section also talks about the loans. Then if you have any investments done in anywhere all across all the financial instruments, then you'll also be required to upload the proof, aka supporting documents for all those investments done respectively. There is a complete section regarding that. So yes, there is. I redirect everybody to the financial aid web page. There we have the sample need-based scholarship form, which will give you a brief idea about the details that we are requesting, the documents that are needed to be uploaded, and accordingly you can prepare and arrange all those documentation in due time, because that window is the time where you just need to fill in the details, put on all the attachments, and just click on the submit button. The second question was, if you could just tell me again, the second question was, Niyati.
Yeah, so basically one was about the process.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Second, if there are any documents that you have already stated,
Right.
and even I just got lost. So yeah, another is that if they need any particular examination as such to put in if they are applying for need-based scholarship.
No, no, not any examinations. Once the firm offer of admission is done, that means we are good to go with the need-based scholarship form.
Yeah, and
And
where
it,
where will they receive the form? On their email ID?
So they receive the information regarding the opening of the financial aid form, aka this need-based scholarship form, in their email, which will talk about the firm offer of admission. However, they will find it on the student portal. वहाँ पर it will also mention about the steps to how to log into portal and how to find it. So it's an easy thing. Once we are more than happy to help you. Once you receive the firm offer of admission, it will be in the email that you will find all the details.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let me just. Okay. How do you assist mid-course if in case the earning member loses their job or has other financial issues?
So, can you please repeat the question?
So basically, for example, if the earning member has recently lost the job,
Mm-hmm.
right? For example, while they're applying or after they have applied for the
Mm-hmm.
need-based scholarship.
Right.
So if in case the earning member loses the job, so of course the expenses would look differently. So what
Right.
kind of assistance we can give to the students at that point of time?
So, if in while applying for the need-based scholarship, if we, if the applicant writes to us that saying that there is a loss of job, in the company, we request for the relieving letter from the company, and we, discuss this internally in the financial aid committee, and the financial aid committee then decides upon the amount of the need-based scholarship that should be applicable in that case.
Okay. And so, as you have already mentioned, that we have different documentation and different
Mm-hmm.
sections to explain what exactly the income is and how the income is being segregated.
Right.
So, for example, if somebody's income is 40 lakhs per annum, but
Right.
there are other liabilities and other things as well that person is
Mm-hmm.
mentioning into the form. So, what is the approximately need-based scholarship that the student can get?
Right. So, this I'd like to say that is not a straight away calculation which can be done at the moment, because there are a lot of factors that the financial aid committee looks into, as the financial standing of the family, which involves, of course, the income plus the assets and the liabilities, the loans that the family is possessing or the investments that the family is having, and the liabilities, there could be medical expenses, there could be other non-discretionary expenses as well. So we look everything as a, holistically, and we then assess the amount of the need-based scholarship that should be applicable in that case.
Perfect. Okay. So ITR we need only for 1 year, right?
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
ITR is for past 3 financial
Past
years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, collectively, I'll ask you a few questions because we also have limited time. So there are few questions which basically are around the income itself. That, for example, if a person is retiring right
Right.
now and they will have a limited income.
Right.
However, in the last three ITRs, their income is more as compared to this year.
Right.
So, how can we go about it? Similarly, if somebody is doing their self-employed business, which is not registered,
Right.
so how do they go ahead and mention all the details? So it's related to the income itself, and it's quite technical that if they have a set income, let's suppose 40 to 50 lakhs, however, there are other things going on a similar road. So how do we assess that?
Right. Okay. The first part is a person is retiring. So let's say the person is retiring A and the person has retired B. So for
Yeah.
the person who's retiring, they will be getting a formal proof of retirement. They need to upload that and also mention all the details in the comment section, which is provided towards the end of the need-based scholarship form. With that, we will take that into account and and assess the amount of need-based scholarship that should be applicable in that case. Secondly, the person has retired. After retirement, either they are getting pension or no pension is the case that we should be talking about. So if they are getting pension, they would be getting pension slips. That money has to be put as the earning income details in the in the earning member section. If the person is not getting any pension, then also whatever amount of interest income or any other income they are getting or while filing the income tax returns, they can upload those documents and also mention the details in the earning members section. Talking about the income range that you've mentioned, again, it's not, a yes and no to any or maybe a particular amount that can be decided. Or, the financial aid committee looks everything, starting from the income to, all the expenses, all the assets and liabilities, and they, take a call for the financial aid that or the need-based scholarship that should be applicable for every case, which is a case by case.
All
Yes.
right. Okay. And for example, if so when we are filling in the ITRs, do we have to only mention the earning members ITR, or also if a person is homemaker, so
Mhm.
we have to also mention their ITRs as well?
So if in case they're filing ITRs, that means in a way they are getting some income. That is, they are filing ITRs,
Yeah.
and we would request them to upload their ITRs because it's a measure of their income contributes to the financial standing of the family, and that is a very important component while we decide for the need-based scholarship applicable pertaining to that case.
All right. Now there are few questions related to the merit-cum-means scholarship as well.
Okay, so maybe I can take those questions,
Yeah.
Tejas, so you can take some rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Tejasvi has been speaking all along. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Jayati, will the scholarship once offered be continued to all the semester only if is like more than 90%? So basically the question is that if the student has like secured 90% in grade 12, is
Mhm.
there any GPA that the student has to maintain for a merit cum scholarship?
Yes, yes. There is a GPA which a student has to maintain every semester for the merit scholarship component to continue. And if for a particular semester, if the CGPA drops below that, then the merit scholarship part will be removed. And if the student has qualified for any need-based scholarship, that will continue. And if in the next semester they are able to maintain the GPA criteria, which is 3.5 or above every semester, then the same scholarship will be continued or be reinstated. And also, the other criteria is that the student needs to ensure that they study a science major at Ashoka. So, if at any point of time they decide to change the major from sciences to a non sciences program, then again the merit scholarship component will be withdrawn. And if a student has received any need based scholarship, that will continue.
Okay. And does SAT score are also a part of merit cum means scholarship?
No, SAT scores are not part of merit-cum-means scholarship. Merit-cum-means scholarship basically considers two types of merit. One is as per your class 12th board results, and second is if you have taken any national entrance test like GEE, NEET, or a KVPY scholarship. For SAT scholars, we have a different program wherein we have tied up with the college board university, and there's a buddy for study program. So students who have a SAT score of 1300 and above, and they have their annual income of 8 lakhs or less, they qualify for such scholarships. Again, the universities shortlist these students and they share the list of these students with the college board team, and they assess the student, and finally the team decides whether a student will be eligible for the college board scholarship.
All right. One related to the need-based scholarship. If the financial circumstances change in 1 year of us being at Ashoka, will the committee review the scholarship?
So, if your financial circumstances very drastically change, yes, you do get an option to apply for a revision of scholarship or a new scholarship request. And in the month of April, you can write to the team, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in, mentioning what are these changed circumstances. And we will give you an option to fill in the need based scholarship form. And then again, the committee will review it and then they will decide. But right now, at the time of your admission, if you feel that right now is the need for you to apply, so please do apply. and don't think that, maybe I can forego it now and maybe apply once I have joined. Because as we said, we are very clear on our acceptance policy that whatever financial aid is given to you, or if you're not on any financial aid, any kind of scholarship, then you are accepting the offer as is. So that remains applicable. But as I said, if something drastic happens, then of course we give you an option to reach out to us.
All right. And what happens if in an event a student loses both the parents over a year, and right now the student does not have a proper legal guardian? He's getting the financial support from his community. If he applies to Ashoka and he has to go ahead for the need-based scholarship, what are the documents that student can submit?
Okay, so if the student is being supported by a community, and if there's one person who can act as a legal guardian and he can share the details, we can go ahead with, at least those basic details. And in the comment section, then it is very important for the student or for the candidate to mention that, how they have been supported so far, and about their current personal financial, family standing and all other details. So comment section, actually everybody should take it, very, very seriously, because that is their place to explain everything apart from all the financial details which the form will ask otherwise. So that is the place where you can explain your entire financial situation, your family situation, and anything additional you would like to share with us. So
Mm-hmm.
so, so even if they feel that, we do not have active parents right now or there are no legal guardians, but still we would encourage that you apply for the scholarship form with whatever details you will have, so that we can at least take your request, take your application, and then we will discuss it with the committee as to how we take it forward.
All right. And is the need-based scholarship or is provided on the net salary or the gross salary?
Oh, so we ask for both the details. We ask for your gross salary also, and then we also ask for the tax amount which your family is paying. And we generally take then the gross salary, which is net of your taxes.
And is it before income taxes or post taxes?
Post taxes. Yeah.
Post taxes. Okay. Does the aptitude test also have a weightage in determining whether you are eligible for scholarship or not?
No, test absolutely has no bearing on deciding whether you will qualify for merit scholarship. Merit scholarship is only considering either your class 12th board results or if you have applied for any other national entrance test. So
Okay.
your Ashoka University performance does not impact whether you will get selected for this merit-based scholarship or not, because you've already proven your one level of merit over there and you've been given an offer. This merit scholarship is totally dependent on your class 12 board results as per the board you have appeared for, and also your family income.
Okay. All right. Um, Another question that we have is, when would the student would know that the student has received merit scholarship from the university? Is it mentioned on the offer letter or is it a later stage process?
No, it's a later stage process, because once you get an offer of admission, then we will take your predicted grades from the admissions team and we will be considering your income. And basis that, we do a shortlisting as per the criteria which is mentioned on the website. So, suppose if you are coming from a CBSE board and your predicted grades say that you might receive like a 98%, then we will shortlist for this merit scholarship process after you have received the offer, and we will be sending you an email from our merit scholarships email ID saying that you have been shortlisted for this particular scholarship. And if you're interested, then you will be required to fill in a Google form. So in the Google form, we will ask you to share the formal proof of the income of your family, and also you have to write a statement of purpose. So
All
all
right.
this process will start once you have received the offer of admission. Right now your only focus should be in submitting the application form. Once you get the offer, then the financial aid process and all the scholarship process will start after that.
All right. All right. So we have few more questions and the time is also quite less. But I would really thank you that you have been taking so many questions so patiently.
No problem.
Yeah.
You just
Um,
ensure that students are best equipped with everything, And if they have any questions, we have our email IDs available, so they can always reach out to us on emails.
All right. And so if, for example, a student, if so I think this question goes to Amrit. If I received a letter of denial of admissions in round two, can I apply again in round three? Well, I guess no. This is the we cannot, you cannot. So basically, if you're applying in one round and you get a denial of admission, you will not be able to apply in any of the other rounds. So, in fact, if there is like this thing I would want to mention because we receive a lot of calls regarding that as well, and I think Amrit, you must also receive some emails related to it. Students have to be very mindful about submitting the application because a lot of times students by mistake submit the application, and if once the application is submitted, you cannot reapply to Ashoka University. So be careful about all the sections, fill it carefully, and then go ahead by submitting the application. Third is that if you're applying to one round, you cannot carry forward your application to another round. If it is submitted in round one, the whole process will go in round one. If it is submitted in round two, the whole process will go in round two. We have few more questions. Is there any merit-based scholarship for non-STEM students based on their aptitude or board marks?
So no, there are no scholarships available for non-STEM students as of now, based on their academic merit or any other details, any other criteria. They have this need-based scholarship form available, so they should definitely apply for it because they have already proven their merit by getting admission to the university. So need-based scholarship is actually their right to apply for it.
Okay, so now I'll take 3 to 4 questions. The 3 to 4 questions are related to the Haryana domicile, and the last one is related to the conditional offer letter. So basically, first is that if a student is from Haryana but has been living in Haryana for like just 5 years, they don't have a domicile, then what they can do? Second, if the domicile is in process, then what are the documents they can attach, except like for the Haryana domicile certificate? And the third is, just give me one moment. My family ID is currently being made, hence I do not have a domicile. It is similar basically. So what the parents can do in this case?
Right. So I'll take this up. So the first was that they've been staying in Haryana, any place in Haryana for the from the past 5 years. So I think for preparation or making the Haryana domicile certificate, the government requests you to stay for at least 15 years in any part of Haryana, and then you become eligible for applying for the Haryana domicile, and that's when they grant the Haryana domicile certificate to you. So essentially, 15 years plus is when you get the Haryana domicile certificate. Secondly, if you have applied for Haryana domicile certificate, you might have received the acknowledgement. You need to upload that acknowledgement in place of Haryana domicile certificate, and in the comment section, you could tell us a tentative time, maybe a couple of maybe a month or a couple of months, for your Haryana domicile certificate being available, and give us a timeline that you will be sharing it the certificate with us in this time frame. And lastly, by any chance, you were talking about the any other document which could replace the Haryana domicile certificate. That is no. No Aadhaar card, no Parivar Pehchan Patra PPP certificate is acceptable. Only the Haryana domicile certificate is acceptable, and we'd request you to to all the students, to all the families who are staying in Haryana, any part of Haryana, to just go for the Haryana domicile certificate after reading all the. It's a very simple process available on the Saral Haryana website. Just log in there and you'll find all the necessary steps to apply for the Haryana domicile certificate.
Perfect. Thank you. So the last question to Amrit, for the conditional offer letter, if they have 12th grade somewhere where they get a condition that they need this percentage, how much deviation is acceptable?
So, of course, I can't give a very specific number on the deviation that is acceptable, which is why It's very, very small though. It's not a huge deviation. I would say tentatively, I can say about 2 to 3%. But above, of course, is always better. It's always fine if you predict above, if you get above your predicted grades, which is why we tell students, please be very, very careful with your predictive grades. Uh, be Take your teachers into consideration. It's always best if you get your school predicted grades. If they don't provide it to you, make sure you assess what you've been doing in your 12th grade properly and only then give your predicted grades. It's always good to not be overconfident, especially when you're predicting your grades. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining us. We hope that this webinar was helpful in understanding Ashoka's commitment towards making education affordable and accessible. We would really appreciate if you could please take a minute to share your valuable feedback with us. The link to the feedback form is provided in the chat box. Please note that the recording of this session will be available on Ashoka's YouTube channel in case you would like to share it with your friends. The last date to submit your application in round 2 of Ashoka's undergraduate program is 15th January 2025. You can secure your admissions even without 12th board marks or CUET. If you have any other queries, you can also write to us at ugapply@ashoka.edu.in or contact us on the number given on the screen. This brings us to the end of the session. I wish you all the luck with your Ashoka application and thank you everyone for joining in.